Loading into game one in a best of three series between Team Tilt Targeters and Team Open to Suggestion. On the blue side is TTT. We have a bit of a roster swap because we needed two subs. In the top lane we have Samdi Rising. Jungle we have Fiend Busa. In the mid lane we have Nutcracker subbing in for Black Rose. We have Drowsy on ADC and X Bryson subbing in for support. Originally Samdi being the support, but because two players were unable to make it, including Tiger DK for the top lane, X Bryson was filling in on the support lane. On the red side for OTS, we have Nubadoom filling in for the top lane on Urgot. We have Scary Ant playing Nocturne, Lil TJ playing Heimerdinger, Crazy Mr. BC on Sivir, and Gundaldy on Morgana. So far a pretty standard opener for both sides, nothing too crazy going on. And it'll be really interesting to see just how this game plays out, mainly because we have some pretty aggressive junglers for both in Rammus and Nocturne, able to get something done early, but of course a lot of value going into the late game as well for this Rammus. In the top lane, AD versus AD. Oh, and a bit of a mistake there coming in for Mr. Crazy BC. Uses his heal at 1 minute and 30 seconds into the game. Of course, Team Tilt Targeters does not know about this, so it shouldn't impact how the lane is played at all, although, of course, if Team Tilt Targeters bot lane decides to play aggressive, they might get something out of it. Fake leash in the bot lane for blue team, and Fiend Busa will start on the top side of the map with blue buff, looking to gank bot lane probably after a full clear. And Scary Amp will start on the Gromp and make his way over to the top side. And itemization, so far nothing too crazy or out of the ordinary coming in for both sides. Green Smite, the item of choice for both junglers, helping with that quicker clear, of course. And already level 2 advantage coming in from Team Tilt Targeters, playing a little bit aggressive. And of course, the Sivir and Morgana have to play a lot more safer, just knowing themselves that they do not have that heal to fall back on. X Bryson already landing a lot of good poke with the Xerath, being as impressive as possible before Morgana hits level 2. Now she has. In the mid lane, it's going to be pretty much a farm fest for the most part. There's really no kill pressure for either of these mid laners, so the junglers are probably going to look to gank the other lanes, especially at top lane. It's a lot more aggressive on both sides. Very all-in nature for both Urgot and the Renekton. Bot lane is going to be pretty hard to gank for Fiend Busa, Morgana, and Sivir, of course, having a lot of options for escape. Now, aggressive play, X Bryson getting caught out for the Morgana Q, but now both AD carries going for the supports, and Ezreal will be the first one to pick up the first blood, and now the ADCs will face off. Ezreal does have the advantage here, does have cleanse available, will not help him in this 1v1, but Sivir not having that heal ultimately did cost them. And now a 2-for-1 in advantage for Team Tilt Targeters, and already a nice advantage. 2 kills both being picked up by Drowsy. And what started off as a pick onto X Bryson, he was able to buy just enough time, draw Sivir really far away from the Morgana, and Morgana of course getting soloed out, had to burn her flash and ignite as well. Now Rammus able to take the bottom scuttle, and Nocturne completing the top one, looking to see if there's anything in the top side of the jungle he can steal away, but of course it has been full cleared. And Urgot just being careful that the Rammus is not there, but they did not know that Rammus started top side of the map, so that's why there was a bit of a mix-up there. And then Rammus actually choosing to take the scuttle on the bot side before his red buff, so the clear advantage is for him. And Renekton playing pretty safe. The wave is pushing into him, so Nocturne's not going to be able to get anything done here. And X Bryson a little bit caught out here, but does land the nice stun. And so Sivir cannot follow up here. Ezreal not able to do much. Oh, and Fiend Busa looking for a gank here, but there was a minion block, so probably not the right pathing. A little bit unfortunate. And Nocturne is at home. Morgana possibly going to be looking for a Q. It will land onto the Xerath. Pat is not responding. Now he has, but the chase is on. Sivir will take a turret shot. And ultimately, Drowsy able to get a third kill now. Now the chase is onto the Morgana. Will they be able to catch her? It doesn't look like they will be able to do so. And this is the type of lead that Team Tilt Targeters were probably looking for. Drowsy already be able to pick up that Sheen. Should be able to go home and cash out a Trinity Force really early. Tier already stacking for him as well, so he's going to be super happy about that. And now Samdi going really aggressive, does have the level 6 advantage. Urgot trying to kite away. The stun is here. It was not empowered, however. And a bit of a trade. Urgot forced to go home. And aggressive play coming in from Drowsy, and a preemptive heal by Crazy Mr. BC trying to keep his support alive, but now the gank is here. Will they be able to get away from this Nocturne? The first one to get caught out will be X Bryson. They will target him down first, but Ezreal is doing what damage he can. Back to Scary Imp. Xerath does go down. Will Ezreal be able to trade anything back? It looks like he won't be able to. Does not get away from the Sivir. And so a bit of a over-aggressive positioning from Team Tilt Targeters will cost them the shutdown. And it looks like it was a bit of a cash out, and so now it's actually Team OTS that has the 900, now 1,000 gold lead. The shutdown gold paying dividends, of course. In terms of farm, a main reason, of course, also for this gold deficit is that Urgot is up 20 CS on this Renekton. Of course, the range matchup can be pretty difficult, but he's been taking really good trades, so he is trying to stay as relevant as possible. Mid, a 10 CS advantage for Cassiopeia, and just a small advantage for Nocturne and the Ezreal as well. Cassiopeia choosing to go home now, has the teleport to go back to lane, chose a nice time to do so at level 7, has completed the Lost Chapter. It will keep him very strong with the mana. And of course, Heimerdinger has already picked it up, did not have to use teleport to get back to lane. A little bit of a skirmish in the mid lane, has to respect the turrets. Nutcrackle will back away. The second component for Triforce is completed for Ezreal. Going to continue to play aggressive. A nice dodge coming in from Soundy. Does get away from the initial engage of Nubidoom, but still has to respect the execute damage from Urgot's ultimate. Gonna try to just pick up as much of this farm as he can. And it looks like Urgot is respecting the turnaround potential of Dominus. Now both junglers are on the top side of the map. We'll have to see if anything comes out of it. Nocturne is level 5, but should be hitting 6 relatively soon. And the poke continues for the bot lane. It's so hard to lock down Morgana Sivir, however. And X Bryson is going to have to be really careful every time he charges up this Q, but it's because it's just an open invitation for Sivir or Morgana to throw out their Qs, and it will, for the most part, guarantee some damage. So it has to be very respectful of that. Has to try to stay in the fog war or in the bush when charging up his Qs. Nocturne has hit level 6 off of this red buff, is going to look to perhaps gank this Cassiopeia. Maybe looking topside, actually. Nocturne is on his way to Soundy. Now here's the ultimate. He will be able to slice and dice away, and Nocturne barely out of range. Now he is. Dominus popped. Will turn around onto Scary Imp. The Fear will land. A flash forward, flash force from Scary Imp as well. And now Nubidoom has to run away. This is a fully raged up Crocodile. And a flash forward from Crazy Mr. playing BC, also popping his ultimate. The heal from X Bryson will not keep him alive. A trade for the ADC, and Morgana is able to get away as well. And so 1-for-1 trade in the bot lane. A very aggressive flash forward coming in from Crazy Mr. BC. Did not have quite the heal up yet. And of course, Ezreal not having heal, unable to save his support. Oh, a very aggressive engage from Samdi there. Just barely 1 pixel away from taking down Urgot. But he will have the pressure now. Urgot, not having teleport, of course, will not be able to catch the next wave. And so Renekton will crash this wave and go home. And while all this is going on, Fiend Busa is able to solo this first Hextech Drake, so a nice small advantage, and really not respecting this Crocodile. We'll have to see if somebody bites. He still has not taken turret aggro yet, and the empowered Q will be enough, will keep him healthy enough. That was a very disrespectful play coming out from Nubidoom, and he does pay for it with his life. But I think he did realize that if he does go home, he's just losing too much in terms of economy. Did not have the teleport to return. Perhaps looking for an outplay under the turret. Try to bait out this Renekton, but it did not work out for him. Now, Renekton is on the board. and has caught up significantly in farm as well. Only a deficit of 6. Cassio throws out her ultimate, but will not land in anything, and the Xerath E will not be enough to stun the Sivir because of the shields. And a heal forced out of Sivir, however, so overall, not too bad. We'll have to see if Ezreal decides to throw out an ultimate as soon as it's off cooldown anytime soon. And now Xerath is going for the ultimate. Will he be able to pick off the Sivir before he goes down? No, Xerath will go down as well, but a trade 1-for-1 once again for the same champion, Sivir and Xerath, just trading each other one at a time. But at the end of the day, it's this Ezreal who constantly is picking up kills and staying alive to push the wave and get minion experience. So overall, this is a much bigger advantage for Team Tilt Targeters, and it's showing a 30 CS advantage for him. In the mid lane, the gap is starting to grow as well. For Cassiopeia, has about 20 CS more than this Heimerdinger. So overall, the gold lead has now fully swung, 1,000 gold in favor of Team TTT. We'll have to see when this next skirmish happens. Ezreal has completed his Triforce and the Tier 2 boots. Now Rammus rather, on the chase for Scary Imp, but will back away. They know Heimerdinger is on the way. And a bit of a pause in the action. Sivir has completed her first item as well. And once again, Ezreal caught out by a Q will get poked down quite significantly from this Sivir. Just the combo once a Morgana Q lands is huge. But there is a large wave that he will try to pick up, and it looks like he will. And this next dragon will be spawning soon in 2 minutes and 40 seconds. And so we'll have to see what kind of advantage both sides try to get. And once again, Morgana Q will land onto X-Bryson. He is a sitting duck, and the Sivir was going to focus him first. And Ezreal trying to go for the Morgana before he goes down, but a nice stopwatch will keep Gundle alive. And once again, these Morgana Qs are so deadly in combination with the Sivir Q, and now they're going to get a push in and a plate to boot. A nice clear of the wave as well. Sivir, the queen of pushing lanes as quickly as possible. Other side of the map, Urgot was trying to sneak in a Herald, but now the chase is on for Cassio. The stun will not land. His back was turned to her. Now Nocturne goes in straight for Cassiopeia. Dominus Renekton on the back line. Now he's going to continue to chase Scary, and will he be able to catch up to him? The stun will land from Heimerdinger. Very nicely lit him, but the slice, and now he has the dice, able to finish him off. And Lol TJ just has to watch his jungler die. Cannot really do much about that. And this will likely mean that TTT can go ahead and go for the Herald. They are under vision, however. But Scary Amp and Nubanum are dead for another 10 or so seconds. And they should be able to take this. And just in time, Dragon's going to spawn in about a minute 30. They should be able to go home and spend their gold and try to keep pushing this advantage. I think because of the few kills that just happened, as well as Sivir getting a huge advantage in the bot lane now, the gold lead has completely evened out. 22k for both sides. It's a really close game already. And now that Urgot has returned, he's going to try to chase down this Rammus, but Rammus does get away with his Q and has picked up the Eye of the Herald as well. And so nothing given for picking up that Herald. Guardbreaker, the item of choice for, or Stridebreaker rather, the item of choice for Nocturne, does not have shoes just yet. Rammus picked up that early Bramble, going to be really helpful against the two topside champions. Morgana landing a nice Q onto Ezreal once again, and that's pretty much 60% down to what his health is just from that one combo. So he does really have to respect it. He's choosing to hold his cleanse for a more dire situation, but it might have just been worth it to burn it there so that he can have a little bit more lane dominance. But either way, holds cleanse for potentially something that's going to need to be used during the dragon fight. 8 kills to 8, dead even in gold and kills for both sides. The only advantage, of course, being the Herald and Dragon picked up. So the map is overall being well played by TTT, especially Fiend Boots able to navigate his way to get those advantage, but there hasn't been any successful gank for either of the junglers just yet. Now Rammus is the first to arrive on the scene, gonna try to get some vision down. Will catch Nocturne doing this blue buff perhaps. No, he chooses not to pop it just yet. Maybe looking to get a little aggressive. Drop the Herald actually. Ezreal ult will take down Morgana very low. Is she going to go down to the Zerathar? It looks like she's going to barely survive. One more hit, not enough. And the Comet just barely not landing. Morgana not choosing to sidestep actually saved her there. And with Morgana being as low as she is, of course, Ezreal R and Xerath R are down, but they have a lot more health prio here. Ram is going in to engage. The Morgana Q will not land. And now the fight is a bit split, but Ezreal able to pick off the Morgana, who is already really wounded. And now the re-engage from Ezreal, the flash forward from both Sivir and Ezreal. Will he be able to chase down the Sivir? No, he gets away from now. But now the re-engage from Scary Amp will take down Xerath. And despite fighting under the Heimerdinger turret, Ezreal able to burst down the Sivir, barely staying alive there. All, of course, while that was happening, I believe Renekton got a solo kill into top lane and manages to push in another wave. So he should be very happy about that. Double buff Cassio should be happy as well. Continue to happily stack the Tear of the Goddess. Already completed Liandry's. Liandry's the item of choice for Heimerdinger as well. And Ezreal gonna get a decent amount of plates here, so should be pretty happy about that. Or actually, no, it's already 16 minutes, so no plates, but some decent pressure onto the turret. And he has not spent his money yet. Once he gets home, he should have a lot of gold to spend. Cassiopeia taking down the mid turret as well. So the map control is already in favor of TTT. And the dragon, of course, was not taken after that last fight because of how low everyone was. A very smart call from TTT to not try to press their advantage. The death timers are so low now that OTS probably would have been able to make it to the dragon and take down a very low team that has not been able to spend their gold yet. Ooh, X-Bryson barely getting away from that Morgana Q. But this is the power of Sivir, able to push down that turret, take it down really quickly. Ezreal, of course, does not have much wave clear. And now an engage, Cassio R once again on the back, just tickling the Nocturne, but Nocturne has to stay away now. Will the Xerath ult land? No, it will not. Just does enough damage to scare off this Nocturne. He will have to back off now, and a flash force from Morgana as well, but a turnaround onto the Rammus gets caught out a little bit by himself. Of course, Cassio was there, but cannot do anything about the Morgana Q landing, or rather the Heimerdinger stun. Now Samdi continuing to do what he can in this top lane, trying to get as much of an advantage. Still a little bit below on CS, but of course does have the 2 kills to the 0 for Urgot. And now will OTS choose to start up this dragon? Nocturne is on his way. He's already pretty close. Does have ultimate, does have a smite. But the rest of OTS is really low. They have to really respect this. Heimerdinger does not have ultimate. Sivir does. Morgana does as well. Morgana does not have a stopwatch anymore. Has not been able to get to the Zhonya's just yet. And now Xerath is perhaps going to try to just go for a steal here. Ezreal throws out the WQ combo as well, but was not enough. And so OTS will respond for their first Drake as well. It will be the Mountain. And it looks like it will be a Chemtech Drake map. Of course, overall, not really benefiting any champion at the moment. Of course, it does help the Conqueror units with the healing. And Renekton a little bit of healing as well, but we don't have any main healers or shielders for either team, so not the best Drake, but of course, it is a Drake that snowballs really hard, so we'll have to see who gets the next one. No, Cassio looking for a little bit of roam. We'll catch out the Pink Ward instead. Now Ram is playing on the top side of the map, so is the Nocturne. Both sides have their ultimates up, so we'll have to see if the top lane is where the next action happens. Ezreal has already completed his Mura mana. Getting that early tier has benefited him. 6 kills, 2 deaths. And now Nocturne ults, but the Crocodile does get in the bush, so the vision is denied and a completely wasted ultimate there for Scary Amp. And he is spotted at the Tribush. Will pick up a ward and back away. And now what is TTT going to do with the small advantage they have gained? Just getting down Nocturne R can mean that Ezreal, Renekton, they could all push out a little bit further. It looks like the lane swap is happening. Actually, Ezreal's making his way to the top side of the map. Renekton has already engaged. Will he be able to bait this just long enough? Ezreal has arrived. Will throw out his WQ, will land. The slow is not there right now. He does not have his Rildas, but continue to pour out damage, landing every single skill shot, but of course it will not be enough. Nocturne was there to cover. Rammus has arrived as well. Could have been a scary situation if Nocturne had his ult, but he did not. And now Xerath is going to have to be a little bit careful. Doesn't want to get caught out here by the Morgana or the Nocturne. Nocturne already pinging that he's on his way, but does not have his ultimate just quite yet. Some fadeaway damage coming in from X-Bryson, and because of this advantage for the ultimate, TTT makes the call to take the second dragon for them, or a Herald for them, but actually it looks like they weren't aware of the timer, and the Baron will arrive, scare away Shelly. But at the end of the day, nothing lost. Cassio continuing to solo farm in the bot lane. Very happy to do so. Of course, a very strong scaling champion. Does not mind not fighting. Heimerdinger is kind of the same, but his power is pushing and unable to really get anything done. This Cassio able to take down turrets very, very quickly. Overall, staying a very close game, just a 1,000 gold lead for Team TTT, 12 kills to the 11. Some core items now coming in. Renekton, of course, has the Goredrinker already completed. Plated Steel Caps. Plated Steel Caps, the item of choice as well for Rammus, has completed the Thornmail. Opting not to go for Merchants this game. A lot of AD damage coming in the side of OTS. Now, will Renekton be able to TP and save this turret? It looks like Urgot's going to go straight for the turret. Ezreal R will land on the wave. It actually didn't hit the Urgot. And X Bryson with the support ultimate. American Sniper coming in does land one, and it's enough for the Renekton to get the shutdown onto the Urgot. I think it was actually just perhaps a bounty kill. I'm not sure why he was able to get 400 gold there. Urgot, of course, does not have any assists or kills, so might have been a spectator bug, not sure. And now a very aggressive play coming in for Feed Busa. Has expended both his flash and his ultimate to try to fear Morgana, who had Black Shield. And now Bryson will be the first one to fall. And the chase is on for the Nocturne, but he does get away. In the meantime, Sivir does take down the Ezreal under turret. And Cassio had to use his teleport to get into the fight, but now Renekton is on the other side of the map. Will he be able to catch out? A flash ultimate will stun up the Heimerdinger. A nice re-engage coming in from Cassio. Has the Zhonya's just to try to stay away from the turret, but oh no. Crazy Mr. BC and Gundaldi are here to clean everything up. And now 11 kills, 4 deaths for Crazy Mr. BC. He's absolutely huge. He's got 2 shutdowns on both the Ezreal and the Cassiopeia. Incredibly strong champion here, especially in the mid lane, in the mid game. And they will continue to push their pressure. Xerath making his way. Will the Ezreal try to throw out his ultimate to slow down this wave? I think he'll hold it, knowing there's not really much that can be done here. Now, with Dragon spawning in 35 seconds, that will be the next point of contention for both teams. In terms of items, if Sivir does make it home before this, she's going to cash out. She's going to be able to buy a completed item, most likely. Of course, Ezreal working on the Serylda's now has completed Last Whisper, but not quite there yet. We'll take this red buff. Gonna do his best to try to poke out. In terms of team fights, they really want to just make sure that it's Bryson does not get Nocturne ulted, because he's a sieging champion, he's an artillery champion, he needs to stay as far back as possible, throw out damage before the fight even starts. Cassio is quite the skirmishing champion, but it's pretty clear that the Nocturne's never going to alter. So it's just the Xerath that need to try to protect. Now the fight is opening up. We'll have to see if Ezreal is able to clear out some of these turrets before the fight is taken, and a huge chunk of damage onto the Morgana. Are they? Is she going to be able to stay alive here? And the ult is thrown out, and a huge snipe coming in from Bryson. Does pick off the Morgana already, and the dragon will be stolen by Fiend Busa. Now the re-engage. Cassio ulting their backs once again, but they do get away with the help of Sivir R. And so, at the end of the day, they did not lose. Team TTT did not lose a single person, and was able to pick up a kill on both Gundaldi as well as the dragon. So they should be very happy about that. Unfortunately, the gold lead still stays in favor of Team OTS. It's just, it looks like purely just the amount of shutdown gold that the Sivir has been able to pick up. So a lot is resting on her shoulders. The Nocturne has been pretty much a non-factor for this game so far. And so both ADCs extremely strong. Of course, this Cassio has had a little bit unfortunate ultimates, mainly ulting just for the slow value. But just that flash ult there from that last fight goes to show that Nutcracker is ready to make those big plays when it needs to happen. Lord Dominic's Regard already completed for Sivir. She is absolutely a threat to this Rammus now. He can't just trust his W and the Thornmail to keep him alive. The Sivir's going to start shredding. And once she completes a healing item as well, it's going to be a really strong threat. The one benefit here for the Sivir, or for Team TTT, is that Sivir has not optimized full damage items. The Shiv, of course, is more of a utility to clear waves, and so she doesn't have that immense spike that Ezreal's going to have once he completes his Serylda. Serylda Triforce plus Muramana will hit absolutely like a truck. He could probably just two-shot this Morgana. if allowed to, and so they're gonna have to respect that. Of course, Cassio having the Zhonya's allows her to make really big plays, being able to play really aggressive, flashing forward and such, so we'll have to see how that works. Heimerdinger has not been able to complete his Zhonya's just yet. But neither side is quite strong enough or having the wave situation to be able to start up the Baron, so the next fight will probably be a Nocturne engage at some point on the map, or the next dragon, which isn't going to spawn for another 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Ezreal has to be a little careful here, doesn't want to get cut out, and now Cassio tries to catch out a Heimerdinger, but unable to do so. Even not having the Rylai's just yet for Heimer, it's still very hard to engage onto a Heimerdinger. Just so much disengage potential, especially if he lands his stun. And so both sides will continue to farm. Sivir has now completely eclipsed his Ezreal in farm, up 40. Just so easy to clear waves and guaranteed damage. However, the lead is in favor of Cassiopeia in terms of farm. And pretty close for both Urgot and Renekton in the top lane. Urgot has opted to go for the Titanic, as well as Obsidian Cleaver, or Black Cleaver rather, getting some TFT items up in here. And has gone a little bit of heal cut of his own to try to cut down the Gore Drinker as well as the Q healing from Renekton. And a bit of a stalemate. Both sides just happy to farm and try to scale as best as they can. Of course, scaling does favor Team TTT a little bit more. There is a lot of lost value when it comes to Sivir and Nocturne as this game goes on. And of course, Xerath is a support, but once he gets his second damage item, he's going to really hurt, especially with those long-range pokes. And so if he's left unchecked, he can do just like what he did in the last Dragon fight, just snipe out one of the squishies in the backline, especially this Morgana. And in combination with the Ezreal R as well, which is what helped him pick up the Morgana kill previously, they can win the fight even before it starts. Now, Urgot is entering the top side of the map, has been seen, however, so TTT knows to be a little bit careful. Ezreal will make it home, which means this turret will go down. I think that was a bit of a mistake. Ezreal probably could have stayed and try to keep that turret up, but now OTS playing the top side of the map, entering the jungle, trying to pressure and try to catch out perhaps Renekton getting a ward in, and just threatening the possibility of starting up that Baron. Of course, being the Chemtech map, there is a lot of just plants that can be used for vision control. And so there's really not a lot of surprises that can happen on this map. However, with Dragon spawning in 15 seconds and Nocturne being on the top side of the map, they might lose the pressure to get to this pit early. And it looks like the call is to start up this Dragon. And OTS is still on the top side of the map. Are they going to start up this Baron? It looks like they will. They are on vision though, so TTT knows this is happening. Other side of the map, they will try to burst it down. And it looks like Xerath has already left to try to go toward this Baron. And Ezreal R is thrown out, and the Xerath R will come in as well. Will be able to steal, not quite. Now Craftgo having to Zhonya's and has to flash away, but the chase is here. Nocturne will immediately ult the Cassio. She will go down. However, Renekton on the other side able to escape, and they were able to take down Gundle D, however. So it will be, at the end of the day, a Dragon for Baron trade. This, of course, scales better for TTT with the permanent buffs. However, with Baron buff and Sivir, OTS should be able to push waves really, really quickly, try to crash all of these waves at once, and try to get at least an inhibitor, if not an inner turret somewhere. Overall, not a bad trade. I think it would have been a little bit better if Cassio had not gone down, since it was a clean 1-for-1 trade, just allowing the Xerath and the Ezreal to attempt steals, but nothing else. But nothing too lost. Unfortunately, Nutcracker did burn his flash as well. Rylai's completed for Cassio, but unfortunately that tier is going to stay at max stacks for a long time. Cannot afford the Archangels for quite a while. But a hefty gold lead for her will keep him ahead in comparison to this Heimerdinger, who has not completed the third item just yet. And Phantom Dancer completed for Sivir. Oh my goodness, 4 core items completed at 29 minutes is absolutely absurd. But again, just the amount of kills that she was able to pick off on Xerath early on, and the multiple shutdowns all just being fed over to her, has been absolutely pivotal for her. And now here comes the first wave crashing into the inhibitor turrets. Sivir, Morgana, and Nocturne will be the ones to push in. Urgot gonna try to push out that top wave, which is kind of frozen in the middle. And Heimerdinger is joining the fight as well. Neither side looking to engage just yet. Hextrigger picked up for Nocturne, hoping to not get bursted down by this Cassio, despite having more AD damage, or AD threat. Has to respect the Xerath as well. And Sunfire Cape completed for Rammus, so a lot of utility being provided and passive damage. Urgot, with this Baron buff, should be able to try to pressure this turret. The 2 siege minions, actually, both buffed up, but Renekton will re-engage. The turret shots will tickle Urgot here, but now Rammus has arrived, will ultimate in. Taunted, should be able to take him down. Urgot overstaying his welcome there, trusting the Baron minions a little bit too much, but Rammus able to make quick work of him. And most importantly, the turret stands, and so nothing is lost for Team Tilt Targeters here. This has been overall a kind of an underwhelming Baron play. Kills still in lead for TTT. But it looks like Team Tilt Targeters has not been able to recoup the gold differential that Sivir was able to pick up earlier. And so once again, still 2,000 gold deficit for them. And Sivir already with this V-Up Sword, it's only a matter of time that Crazy Mr. BC is going to be 6 items. And that will be a scary Sivir. Despite being a utility champion overall, those Qs, those autos, and empowered movement speed, it's going to be impossible to get away with her, especially if this Morgana lands a Q. And now the next Drake will spawn in 1 minute and 34 seconds. This will be Soul, Hextech Soul for Team TTT, so OTS will definitely try to contest this. In terms of mobility, we have teleport up for all 4 champions who have taken it, so we'll have to see what side decides to push a side wave during that skirmish. The Baron buff has now ended. No advantage in favor of Team OTS. Now the mid wave will meet, and Nocturne is in the area. Will he choose to engage onto this Cassio or Ezreal? Just out of range, we'll stay careful. Rammus hovering on the top side of the map, perhaps gonna look something on Urgot, and it looks like he won't, and Urgot will make this opportunity to go home. Should be able to pick up one more item, it looks like. Now Ezreal and Nocturne very close by, needs to be careful. Nocturne gonna help this Heimerdinger get a little bit of vision control on the bot side of the map. We'll take out the blue ward. Uses the plant to get some more guaranteed vision. And ooh, this is very favorable timing for this Ezreal. The red buff will just spawn right before this dragon, which means his poke is going to do a lot of work before this dragon, and that's exactly what TTT needs to do before this fight starts up. They need to make sure not to get sucked into this dragon pit area where all of the Heimerdinger turrets are set up, and a lot of chaos can happen as soon as Nocturne turns off the lights, and so they're going to have to do as much poking as possible. Ezreal already doing so. Looks like he's been able to pick up the Tiamat as well, so he's getting a lot of value just from these Qs. And Cassio will throw down some damage onto the Urgot. And Ezreal doing what he does best, constantly just throwing out poke. And of course the red buff helping a ton as well. So continuing to poke down this Urgot. He is very tanky, but he can't just simply ignore all this damage. And now Nocturne has started up the dragon. What will be the response for TTT? Renekton is pushing on the top side of the map. It looks like they're going to only go for a steal attempt here, and they do try to steal it away, but it will not go down. It's actually the Morgana who takes it down. The flash forward for the Urgot will throw away the Cassio. The ultimate will miss because of her Zhonya's. She is buying some time, but on the other side of the map, Samdi able to take down that turret. So it's going to be a top inner turret for Dragon. And it looks like the call was just to give it and only go for a small steal attempt once again for the Nocturne and the Ezreal, because they know this dragon, it's not going to put them on soul point anytime soon for the opponent. So they're willing to not take really risky fights, and I think that was completely the right call. And now Xerath looking for another potential pick onto the Morgana. Will he land one more? The Black Shield will be there, but it does not matter because the last ultimate shot. Oh, and it just is barely. Oh, he does take her down. He did have one more shot. Absolutely huge. Ezreal forced the flash away. Now that Rammus has arrived, will engage onto the Sivir. Sivir taking away, but into the arms of the Crocodile. Shut down. 1,000 gold going over to Samdi. Absolutely massive. And Ezreal continuing to poke from over the wall. Scary Amp with the desperate flash play was not going to survive that situation. And now Renekton 1 versus 1 on this Urgot. His team is trying to follow up. The Sterix is absolutely massive. And now the Renekton, or the Rammus has flown in from downtown, able to use his ultimate to close the gap, but the ultimate from Urgot will land as well. But with how many champions are down for Team OTS, I think Team Tilt Targeters can go ahead and start up this Baron. They picked up an Ace as well as Baron, and have only lost 2 of their teammates. So overall, a huge swing in favor of Team TTT. Once this Baron is taken down, it will be a 2,000 gold lead and an opportunity to continue to press out all these waves. Very nicely done. Let's see what items everyone chooses to pick up. Jok shows the item of choice for Urgot. Going for that late mythic, but a very strong one, is going to be able to stay really tanky in these fights. Just able to absorb as many of the pokes as possible from Team Tilt Targeters. Renekton is absolutely a threat as well. Has picked up Shojin and has now 4 completed items. Even going for the stopwatch for the playmaking potential and the potential GA in the later stages of the game. Maw of Malmortius picked up for Nocturne. Aegis picked up for Rammus. Hoping to get that upgraded before the next fight possibly. And Cassio is at a very, very strong peak spike right now with 4 completed items. Archangel's completed as well. The Snake does not need shoes, so getting a lot of value, spending her gold in the right places. And Sivir with 309 CS, 36 minutes into the game, has completed the last item. It will be Bloodthirster. No use for money on her now. We'll continue to probably take down waves anyways, because that's what she does best. Gold a little bit unfortunately spent, but once again, this is where it becomes a little bit bad value for Team OTS here, is that their main wave clear champion is going to be taking gold that she doesn't need. And so the rest of the teammates are playing catch up, and all the money's in her pockets, so there's a lot on her shoulders, but she isn't really dealing as much damage as a potential hyper carry would be able to, so nothing really happening there. Now it looks like Drowsy and Nutcracker are looking for a pick onto this Heimerdinger, because he does push fast, but the Baron minions will show that they are hiding in the bush, so nothing really comes out of it. And Drowsy actually wasting a little bit of time here, but of course there's nothing they can do on the map right now. Renekton is pushing the top side of the map, and Xerath keeping the wave push in the middle. And I do have to give credit for Team OTS. The map ward vision is absolutely insane. They have so much vision just everywhere, so there is no potential for any kind of invade in their jungle, but they wouldn't anyways against the Nocturne. They do have to respect the potential to turn around a fight. And now Nocturne is going to ult right onto the Xerath. He will get caught out. He will die. Throws out his heal, but unfortunately it will be an invade. And actually just wastes his flash as well. Panic spent on both of the summoners. Really unfortunate, but will they be able to get anything done with this? It looks like they're going to try to take down this top inner turret that was quite low. And the Baron buff has expired, and so both teams unable to make anything happen with this Baron buff, and the game just trucks along. And Dragon will spawn in 20 seconds. Nocturne using this opportunity to go home and spend the money. And Ezreal already arriving first on the scene to try to get some vision down and get that red buff. Once again, that timing is so perfect right before each of the dragon fights, able to get so much value. Renekton and Urgot has teleport as well, so they will be able to join up the fight if needed. Cassio has arrived as well. So both teams already in the area. And the dragon has spawned. Xerath's still in base, just spawned, and now teleport's going to be used by both top laners. Renekton's on the flank. He's going to be behind them. Ezreal ultimate thrown out to just try to chunk down this Heimerdinger. It will take him down to half health as well as the Morgana. They know that Renekton's here. He has to get away. He does get away for now. And a flash forward from the Urgot. And Cassio able to hold her flash. Nothing comes out of it. And now TTT are the ones that are able to throw down some pressure here. Ultimate raining down on Heimerdinger. He's taken down very low. Morgana will flash forward, ult Zhonya's, but Fiend Busa with a huge steal. Heimerdinger has gone down as well. And Cassio on the run. Sivir so much damage. Ezreal able to pick up the kill onto the Urgot with his ultimate. And so every member of TTT is dead except for Ezreal. He is going to try to recall as soon as he can. His ultimate just getting a Hail Mary on the Urgot, saving this from being a 4 versus 1. Or 3 versus 1 rather. And he will have to give up this inhibitor. but will do what he can to try to clear the waves. And that should be it. But an absolute clutch smite coming in from Fiend Busa, able to give them a soul point. And Ezreal throwing out his R just to clear out. And Nocturne's a little low. Gonna have to be careful. This Ezreal has red buff. He can continue to chase, but it looks like he chooses not to. And a wild fight that was initially opened up by both top laners teleporting into the fight. Renekton looking for a flank, but was chased away. And once again, the Xerath R is just so much guaranteed free damage before any of these fights start. Heimerdinger and Morgana were both chunked down to pretty much 20% of their health. Morgana flashing forward and Zhonya using Zhonya after ultimate, but was not enough. Immediately taken down as soon as their Zhonya's expires. And Urgot, of course, expending his flash a little early there to try to catch out the Cassiopeia, ended up costing him his life as Ezreal was able to land the long-range ultimate. But after all that's said and done, the soul is taken by TTT, but the gold is dead even at 73,000 gold each. And 3 kill advantage for Team TTT, but overall, the game is as even as it can possibly get. This next Baron will likely determine what the big push is going to be afterwards. Both sides have most of their turrets up in the base, except for the mid lane, of course, that was taken down by Team OTS. Now the Baron has spawned in will spawn in 5 seconds. Ezreal potentially trying to look to get some damage onto this Urgot before this fight starts. Just chooses to clear the wave. And now the whole team for both sides is here. What will they choose to do? Cassio, of course, has to go periodically to this mid lane to try to clear out the wave. It is the super minions, so they don't want it to get too further into their base, because it will give just so much pressure. And now Rammus does get caught out a little bit, but barely tickles him. The stun damage coming in from Heimerdinger. Ezreal doing his job as a janitor here, clearing out all of those turrets. And Urgot's actually going to go home here. Looks like he has some gold to spend, potentially. Or will choose to go to the bot lane. No, it looks like he canceled his recall and will choose to stay. Pings coming in from both sides. They know exactly where Urgot is. They know exactly where Nocturne is. They're actually going to try to pounce onto this Urgot. Ezreal will miss his initial combo. He misses another Q. And now Ezreal's going to be immediately ulted by the Nocturne. Ezreal forces flash and cleanse away. He's kiting back as best as he can. GA pops for Nocturne. And Xerath raining down fire from the skies, able to poke down quite a bit of them, but once again, Ezreal still has to run away. Cassio on the other side was able to get a bit of damage. Ezreal still cutting back, and now the rest of Nocturne and Heimerdinger has arrived. Cassio will go down here after the Zhonyas, and everyone is so low. This is a dream potential for Ezreal, but it's just so hard to get anything done, and a lot of damage being thrown out by Xerath as well. Has to go get away from that, the Sivir, has to respect it. And it looks like they're actually going to just give it up. They're not going to do anything with it. And Xerath backing off as well. Actually, they're going to start up Baron, OTS is. They're quite low. Of course, Heimerdinger turrets will help this quite a bit. But now Xerath does have ultimate. Xerath does not have ultimate just yet, actually, so he will not be able to take this. And the third Baron does go over to Team OTS. Ezreal has to be very careful. Thankfully, some minions tanking some of those shots there. And overall, just unfortunate play coming in from TTT. They try to pick off the Urgot, and Ezreal missing 3 skill shots in a row pretty much costed them that fight. And Rammus having to expend his ultimate on Urgot does mean that they have to get something done there. But Scary Imp immediately reacting, jumping right onto the Ezreal, and of course he did survive. But by then, Team Tilt Targeters had expended most of their summoners and their main abilities, so they weren't able to make anything out of it. Now one more Baron buff. They'll have to survive with the Sivir just constantly pressuring this mid lane. Guardian Angel has been completed for Renekton. This is his 6th item. He is as strong it's going to get. Same thing for Urgot. Has chosen to go for the Force of Nature for his final item. Jungler's a little bit behind in the gold department, but that is the nerf state of the jungle right now, so that is to be expected. Cosmic Drive is what's picked up for Cassio, so a lot of movement speed and cooldown reduction that's going to be keeping her at a safe distance, but also throwing down as much damage, pretty much an ADC in her own right. Now Cassio has to be a little bit careful not to get caught out here. Ezreal trying to throw down as much poke as they can. They're in a bit of a choke here, OTS. Has to be careful not to get wombo comboed. But the Baron buff is pushing the minion wave all the way up to their inhibitor that has just spawned. Cassio continuing to throw down what damage he can. And now here comes the siege. Xerath, 1W has taken down Heimerdinger, and the Ezreal ult coming down as well, and will put him at 20%. Will he be able to land the shot? The fancy feet has to flash away. The next shot should not. Oh, and he does get hit. He walks right into it. Unfortunate. And Xerath has picked off and slowed down this push. And with the numbers advantage, TTT going to boldly walk into their jungle. Has to be careful though, of course. It's still 4 members, the damage dealers, up for Team OTS. And with the Elder spawn, this will be a really game-deciding fight here. A flash forward once again from Urgot has tried twice now onto the Cassiopeia, but she is just too slippery. And manages to get away. A fadeaway Q landing for Gundle D, but it will not matter. Ezreal ult will not hit anything there. Perhaps the Krugs on the top side of the map. And the call for OTS is to push mid-wave. They're going to end the game if TTT does not respond. They shouldn't do this Elder. They're not able to burst it nearly fast enough, and Ezreal chooses to go home, is going to be able to complete the recall. He will be the first one on the scene, as well as the Renekton. Renekton gets locked up. He has to pop the Dominates, slices in, able to get a huge value from Goredrinker and Q, and they are able to defend the base. Renekton with an absolutely massive wave play, and gets a huge shutdown of 1,000 gold onto the Sivir as well. And a very swift and decisive recall coming in from Team TTT, able to defend their base and pick up several kills. And now they should be able to pick up this Nocturne as well. One more Xerath Q will, or R will do it, and it actually goes over to Cassiopeia. Perfect scenario. And now they will get the Elder as well. It is just so darn close for both teams. Exactly 84,000 gold once again. It just can go either way each time. It just comes down to the macro. However, the kill leads have been slightly going in favor of Team TTT. They are now a full 5 kills ahead. Ezreal and Xerath choosing to push in this mid. It looks like Cassio is going to actually teleport into the wave, try to buy some time for that minion, able to get the inner turret, and now they will work on this inhibitor turret. Should be able to take it down as well. Still another 22 seconds for Nocturne, and Sivir's not up for another 5 as well. They should get the inhibitor. They do have the Elder. Are they going to press this advantage, or are they going to respect the Sivir wave clear? And of course, Elder is great for skirmishing and picking up kills, but it's not quite as good for pushing waves. Baron is much better for that, and so they will actually just respect the Nocturne and back away. He does just spawn. And a teleport advantage for OTS. They both have it. Cassio and Renekton no longer do, and so they'll have to stay clumped. Looks like they're going to potentially look for a pick here in the top side of the jungle. They are not sitting on any vision, but OTS smartly staying away. Morgana will throw out a Q and just confirm that they are waiting for him in the bush, so they will back away. Baron will spawn in a minute and 10. And now Baron or Elder is about halfway gone. So while they have this, it looks like the call is to push in this top wave and perhaps get one more inhibitor before the Baron spawns, which will put them in a very favorable situation with 2 super minions waves pushing. And here they come. They are going to push in this top wave. Renekton at the front does not have his guard, or he does have his Guardian Angel. And Ezreal ult will land, will zone them off, and actually Sivir stepping forward will immediately get taunted by the Rammus, and GA immediately popped. Dominus taking for the Renekton is able to pick off the Sivir. And a very unfortunate forward moving from Sivir will cost his life, and now the rest of the team, oh my goodness. Bryson able to land another pick onto TJ, and they were able to make good use of that final few seconds of the Elder buff, able to get 2 executes. And now with Baron spawning in 10 seconds, that should be the next call. Sivir and TJ dead for another 50 seconds. The death timers are really, really long now. And actually, they're going to take this 5 versus 3. They're going to push in and try to get some Nexus turrets here, if not end the game. They do not have the Elder, but they are chasing down onto Nubadub. The ultimate will land onto his back, will slow him down just a bit. 70 is quite low. Is he going to choose to go in? No, he focuses down the turret. Now Nocturne goes straight onto the Ezreal, actually the Xerath, but now he's alone, will get taken down, and his Guardian Angel will pop on the other side. Cassio continuing to zone the rest of the team. And with Nocturne dead, and Sivir spawning in 5 seconds, Heimerdinger in 10, will they be able to end the game here? The last stand for Team OTS, and the Urgot ult will whiff. We'll try to slow them down. The GA pops for Renekton. Rammus goes down, actually. And now they'll have to back away. Heimerdinger has spawned. They held the Urgot absolute Chad, able to tank for as long as he did. And with Rammus going down, they cannot do this Baron anymore. And the rest of them, their health bar is pretty much at 10%. And 50 minutes into this game, TTT are not able to close it out. They are playing on the safe side, respecting just the potential for getting turned around. And if they had all died in that base, they definitely would have gotten reverse Nexus. So, and it looks like OTS is suspecting that Team TTT are doing the Baron, but they are not on it just yet. And Cassio will choose this opportunity to start pushing the bot wave, the only lane that does not have the inhibitors taken down. So looks like a 1-4 will be the play. And Rammus is still dead for another 15 seconds. Oh, Ezreal has to be really careful not to get caught out there. And now OTS is making the call to do this Baron. Nocturne is not there just yet, but it is a 4-man push. Xerath in the area, and with Xerath Ezreal, anything is possible. Will they go for the Baron steal? And the first shot comes out for Xerath. The second, the third, and the fourth, and oh my goodness. X-Bryson, American Sniper, takes down the Baron, and now on the other side of the map, Samdi and Nutcracker are going to end the game. The recalls have been stopped. The only person to make it home is going to be Nocturne and Urgot, and that will be the game. A huge turnaround, massive steal coming in from X-Bryson, and a 52-minute comes to an end with TTT with victory for Game 1.